Let's take a look at creating a new database in Fritz 13. And then we can copy games from an older database into our new database. Well, first of all, you need to go into the database window, so click on database here. This brings up our database window. To get to a new one, there's a couple of different ways you can do that. You can click there where it says create new database, or go into file and click on new to create new database. This brings up a Windows Explorer window. You can see it's defaulted to the chess-based folder and then the subfolder My Work. So the folder chess-based will be in your documents. This is if you've installed Fritz to your default locations. It tends to store the data into a chess-based folder, which is in your My Documents folder. So you can hear it's opened up the My Work folder. It's a good enough place to start, and you get to choose the name of the database as well. If you want to save it to a different folder, you obviously have to navigate using this window through to the folder you want. You might want to save it to Bases, for instance, My Work, or even Database. That's another folder you might want to save it to. But wherever you want to save it, so once you've found the right folder you want to save it in, let's say it's this one, you get to choose the name. The default is New Database. That's not really going to tell us a lot. So you can see here I've got things like MyMora and SmithMora. The database is on a particular kind of opening. So we can do all sorts of things. We could put games from the Caro Khan, which we might call it Caro Khan, or we might calling it whatever it is really, whatever it's regarding, just to let you know what it is when you're looking through the databases later on. Openings in 1E4. So it's important to remember when you're about to create this, because you've changed the name of it to make it to signify what's going to be in that database. It's important to remember where you're saving it, because obviously you want to access that database later. So just remember you've saved it into your chess-based folder and My Work. And when you're ready to go, you can click Create New. Now you can see the database window's actually disappeared now, or at least all the games inside it has disappeared, but that makes sense. Don't worry, don't panic, because what you've got here is a new database. It doesn't have any games in it. So, no problem at all. What do we need to do here to put games in it? Well, there's a couple of things you can do. You can copy games from another database. So let's go back into our mega database. Obviously, I'm just copying a game at random here, but you get the idea. And there's, again, a few different ways of doing this. You can right-click and then go to Edit and Copy. But the most simple way to do it is just simply click Copy here. And now you'll notice nothing appears to have happened, but what that's done is copied that game to the temporary memory. So now you go back into the database we created, so you have to open that again. So we'll do it this way this time. Click Open, scroll to where we saved it, which was Chessbase and My Work. That's the database we saved, that we created. No games found. And then to copy, to paste what we copied earlier, just click Paste. It'll ask you to confirm do you want to copy that game from the mega database to your new database, which we called Opening 1E4. And yes, we do. And there you'll see we've now got a game in that database, the Opening 1E4 database that we created. Obviously you can call it whatever you like. Change it to something relevant to what you want to save in it, and you can copy games, any sort of games that you want to copy over. It's that simple to copy games over. So for instance, if you've done a search, you've got old games from a certain kind of opening, you might want to copy them all at once into your new database, and you can do that too. So let's go back into our mega database. Say we want to copy a bunch of games, and we might want to copy the first 5 of these. Well, there's a couple of ways you can do this. If you hold down the Control key on your computer keyboard and click each game individually, which is useful if you want to copy some games that aren't necessarily next to each other, and then let go of the Control key. Now when you hit copy, it'll copy all those games specifically. You can also copy games in a bunch. If you click one game and then hold down Shift and click another game, that's going to copy them all. Once you've hit copy here, that'll overwrite. You only get the last, it'll overwrite what was in the temporary memory. So whatever you've clicked copy on last will be the last thing that will be the actual thing you're copying over. So we clicked copy. We go back to our database, and you'll actually notice there's a list of recent databases here now. So we can jump straight to that database if we wish to. And all we need to do is click paste. Now we're copying 12 different games, 11 to 22, which was in mega database. Click OK, and you'll see they've all been copied over. So now our new database, this Opening 1E4 database, has 13 different games in it, and you can play through those games. It hasn't affected the games in the original Mega because we didn't cut them, we just copied them over. So those games still exist in the original database. But if you want to play through those games now, specifically these ones that you've copied over, you've got them in their own database. Very useful if you're copying sort of all games from one different opening or a certain player you want to prepare in a special way. But anyway, it's that simple to create a new database and to copy games.